Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're digging into Malaysia's Employees Providence Fund, or EPF. And it's this fascinating story, right? On one side, you've got incredible success. But on the other, a pretty serious crisis is brewing. And it all starts with one very impressive number. So let's start with the good news, because it was big. For 2024, the EPF announced a dividend of 6.30%. I mean, this was a fantastic result, the best payout members have seen in 7 years. People were definitely happy about this. But here's the thing. As great as that number is, it kind of papers over a much deeper problem. And that really brings us to the core question we're tackling today. Is a great return on your investment enough to guarantee a secure retirement from that investment?
So, to really get the full picture, we've got to ask, how on earth do the EPF pull off such a great year? It's a story all about smart investing and a pretty dramatic market turnaround.
And that momentum? It's kept rolling right into 2025. In just the first half of the year, the EPF pulled in nearly 39 billion ringgit in investment income. That's a solid 3% bump from last year. But, it wasn't exactly a straight line up. And this chart? Oh man, it just shows you everything. The first half of 2025 was truly a tale of two different quarters. You see, Q1 was rough. Income actually dropped 13% because the global markets were all over the place. But then, wow, look at Q2. It just came roaring back with a massive 22% jump as markets recovered.
So you're probably wondering, where did that huge rebound come from? Well, the answer, in 2 words, is global diversification. Think about this. Overseas assets are only about 39% of the whole portfolio. But that 39%, it generated a massive 63% of the income in that comeback quarter. It just goes to show how absolutely crucial those international investments are for boosting everyone's returns.
Okay, so the investment side of things is looking pretty good, right? The returns are strong. But now we have to flip the coin and look at the other side of this story. And honestly, it's a sobering reality check for millions of people.
Okay, get ready for this number. This is the one that's setting off alarm bells everywhere. 6.3 million. Yep, 6.3 million members. We're talking nearly half of everyone under 55 have less than 10,000 ringgit saved up for retirement. And this crisis, well, it got a huge push downhill from all those special withdrawals during the pandemic. So, what does that actually mean? What does 10 grand get you when you retire? Well, it breaks down to a monthly income of just 42 ringgit.
No, that's not a typo. 42 ringgit a month. And this is the whole point, right? You can have a record-breaking dividend, but if you're applying that amazing 6.3% to a tiny balance, it's just not going to move the needle. It's not enough. And this is the massive problem the EPF is now trying to solve. So, faced with this crisis, what are they doing? Well, the government and the EPF are launching some of the biggest reforms we've ever seen. This is basically their blueprint for the future.
First things first, they're expanding the safety net. Starting in October 2025, it's going to be mandatory for employers to pay into the EPF for their foreign workers. Now, even though the rate's a bit lower, this is a huge deal. We're talking about giving a basic social pension to around 2 million workers and trying to level the playing field in the job market. Okay, but the real headline grabber, the biggest change of all, is this new pension-style scheme. So for anyone new joining the EPF down the road, when they retire, their savings will be split. Part of it becomes a monthly payout for life, kind of like a regular pension, to make sure the money lasts. The other part, that's still flexible. You can take it out as a lump sum. And this is super important. If you're already a member, your rights are protected. You can choose to opt into this new system, but nobody's going to force you.
And you can bet this has started a huge debate. You've got one camp saying, yes, we need this for long-term security to stop people from running out of money. And then you have the other side saying, hang on, it's my money. I should get to choose what I do with it. It's that classic push and pull, right? Security versus freedom.
And on top of these big changes, the EPF is also beefing up some other programs to get people to save voluntarily. So for gig workers under ISARAN, the government match is now higher. Same for housewives under ISARI. Plus, with iLending, you can now use your account too to buy insurance for your family, which is another great layer of protection.
So with all this going on, you've got to wonder, how does Malaysia's system actually stack up against the rest of the world? Let's do a quick comparison with its neighbor, Singapore, which usually ranks pretty high.
And this comparison is really interesting. Look, when it comes to returns, Malaysia's EPF is the clear winner. That 6% average is way better than Singapore's CPF. But, and this is a big but, Singapore's system covers everyone, and it scores much, much higher for things like adequacy and just being sustainable long term. And that really highlights the EPF's challenge, doesn't it? It's fantastic at growing your money, but now it has to get better at making sure enough people have enough money in there to begin with.
All right, so we've seen the amazing returns, we've seen the scary savings crisis, and we've seen the bold new plans. So, what does this all mean for you? What's the bottom line?
You know, it really all boils down to this one thing. The EPF is basically walking a tightrope. On one side, they have to keep up their amazing track record of getting great returns. But at the exact same time, they've got to make sure those returns actually mean something, that they lead to real, lasting financial security for everyone, not just the people who already have a lot saved up.
And that leaves us with one final, really big question to think about. The whole system is making a slow but steady shift away from that idea of getting a big lump sum and toward a future of guaranteed long-term security. So the question for the entire country really is this the right trade-off for Malaysia's future? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.